Hey you guys, how's it going? Kyle, or Epic here with another episode of Epic FAQ. And the comment question winner from the last time was by Arkasha Kuhn. And he asks, Epic, what is the best and safest way to train on flips if I don't have a gym nearby? Which is a pretty valid question, I think. It depends on where you live, obviously. But think about it this way. Out of common sense, when you're wanting to learn something that has to do with like a flip where your life is in danger and if you fell, you could hurt yourself, the ideal thing you would want to do is find a place to land that is not going to hurt, like water. Some people like to train in dirt. Some people think that grass is fine enough. Some people will go and find sand pits. Some people like to train in they'll take their bed mattresses outside and throw them on the ground. Some people actually go out and buy their own crash pads and stuff. It really depends, but I think that the safest way to train would be one to obviously have a soft landing, like sand, dirt, grass, someplace that you're comfortable landing on without worrying too much about getting hurt. And then also training on basics of movements. To understand a movement, you have to figure out the basics behind it. So let's say, for example, something very simple like the aerial. What would you say the basic to an aerial would be? For me, I would say the basic to an aerial would be a cartwheel. Very simple, basic progression there. So if I wanted to learn the aerial, I would try and first learn the cartwheel. If I can't learn a cartwheel, if I can't do it, what's the basic to a cartwheel? Well, let's see. In a cartwheel, you go on your hands and your feet come up in the air. So let's say a handstand. So if I want to do a cartwheel, I'm going to work on a handstand. And you got to find ways to break movements down. All right, now let's try a little bit more advanced. Let's say I want to learn a corkscrew, right? Well, the basic to a corkscrew is take the twist away. You got just a cheek gainer or gainer swing, whatever, and then that's that has its own basic progression. So basic to that would be maybe a standing backflip, and then basic to a backflip could be a back handspring, right? The basic to a back handspring could be a macaco. A basic to macaco could be like a cartwheel, and then basic to cartwheel could be a handstand. So it has its progressions pretty good ways. It can go a long ways. It's just a matter of understanding the movements and finding ways to break them down. It's like me in dog training with Nisa. It's like you have to figure out how to get them to do what you want them to do. You got to find a way to get your body to do whatever it is that you want them to do. Let's say, for example, an easy flip, like a side flip, for example. The way I teach my students a side flip is I have a block there, and I have them jump up and go back to back on the block, and then push off and finish on the other side. That gets them used to the set, the tuck, and the opening for the landing, and the block, depending on how high it is, gives them the height that they can go to. And then whenever I take the block away, I say not jump that high. Or you can keep the block there and say go over it without touching it, but doing the exact same motions. So the safest way, I think, would be to find progressions to your flips. Master the basic movements first. Get those down. That way your muscle memory knows the movements. They're not awkward for you. The more you do a movement, the easier it's going to get. Your body's going to memorize the motions. You're going to feel more comfortable with the movements because you've been doing them over and over and over. And as they get more comfortable, they're going to seem easier, which is going to enable you to have more control over them, right? And when you gain more control over them, you can kind of start adding more stuff like twists. Add a twist with it. You can add another flip. You can make a fancy landing. So that's the way I see it. That's what I think is the best and safest way to train on flips and stuff if you don't have a gym. Or you could just go Russian and throw everything and just be cool as hell and just be the fucking savior of the world when it comes to zombie apocalypses. But that's all I really have to say about the best and safest way to train on flips in the gym is find ways to use your current environment to aid you when it comes to certain movements. Find the basic progression to a flip. Don't rush and say, I just want to go straight to the crazy flips and twists and stuff like that. No, dude, that's how you break your shit. Start with the basics, work your way up. The journey is amazing. From time to time, I'm sure it's cool to try a new crazy flip. But if you get that fear in your mind where you really want to do it, but you don't think you can, sometimes it's good to listen to that fear. Sometimes it's not. It depends. Sometimes you really may have that much control of your body when you go in that moment. A lot of it really is like a mindset that you have to put yourself in order to do something. But sometimes your body just is not ready yet. Sometimes you just aren't strong enough, or sometimes you just haven't gained enough experience when it comes to building muscle memory and stuff. That's why I recommend drilling the basics. If you're scared, that way you keep doing the basic motions and your body's comfortable with it. It's easy. So when you go for the more advanced one, it's that much easier. that's all we have to say about that. Hopefully that helped a lot of you guys. Take great care, stay positive, and may the next best question win.